Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministry. I'm your host, Brother Jay. We're taking the gospel back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is treason within the gates. Absalom. Happy New Year. This is the first message of the new year, and I'm dealing with treason. This is the season for treason, so why not deal with it? Perfect time. I've covered Absalom before. You can get that, sis. The name of the video was called Absalom, My Son, dealing with sedition and treason too, but I'm more focused on the betrayal aspect. Like I said, many of these characters have different facets, and you can focus on. What I want to focus on now is more or less the mode of operation of these treasonous and position to get in a position to cause the treason in the first place, where they would have to be. That's more going to be my aim. You can get that teaching. It's a lot more detailed, and getting into Absalom. We're going to do more skip tracing now. Speaking of treason, one of the greatest written exposés on treason was by a guy named Cicero. Marcus Cicero, and he was a Roman procurer that lived around, he wrote this, I know, around 44 BC. So we're going to read that first. In this video probably, so hold on to your hats. Normally it is a drive-through and it's quick, but this might end up being 3 videos out of this, because I really want to put a laser beam on treason, since this is the season of treason, and it's running rampant in the land right now with traitors. So we're gonna get really deep into this subject today. So let me read this first from Cicero. A nation can survive its fools and even the ambitious, but it cannot survive treason from within. An enemy at the gates is less formidable, for he is known and carries his banner openly. You know the opposition. You see somebody show up in a Russian uniform at our border, he's the enemy. Or if he show up in a Chinese uniform, talking for as if it was to be a state of war, they would wear their uniform. See, that's one of the problems that we have with the head chopping terrorists. A lot of them don't wear a uniform. They blend in with the people and attack you. And sometimes they attack you from within. It's been happening with us, thanks to the breakdown in our wolfhounds. But anyway, let me get back to this. An enemy at the gates is less formidable, for he is known and carries his banner openly, but the traitor moves amongst those within the gate. How many traitors you think we got within our gates about now? Homegrown terrorists included. They move within our gates freely. His sly whispers, rustling, plotting. They plot and scheme. They have meetings underground to overthrow this great nation and plunder it into another third world hellhole, Banana Republic. Freely his sly whispers rustling through the alleyways. For the traitor appears not as a traitor. Listen very carefully to this. For the traitor appears not as a traitor. They come with cunning and smiles. They hide behind flowery names with their organizations. A lot of them might use the word American in the name of their organizations. But they're working opposite of everything. They're claiming patriotism, but they're working opposite of it. Some form of fascism, communism, Lenskyites. Lenski wrote a book on this subject. Exactly what we're reading, how to subvert a nation from within. Rules for radicals. For the traitor appears not as a traitor, appears not as a traitor. He doesn't look like a traitor. He looks just like you and me. He speaks in an accent familiar to his victims. He talks the language of the nation, of the people. Not a traitor that appears, not a traitor appears as a traitor. He speaks in accents familiar to his victims and wears their face in their arguments. These people are schemers. They know how to prey. If you're broke and you're in the ghetto, in the hood, they know how to foment anger for the guy that's living in the suburbs, and what they, because he know he worked his butt off to get where he is in luxury. While you sitting up on government assistance complaining, and these taxpayers should give you more. They know how to cause class division, race division. That's what they do. They speak the language, prey on your emotions, prey on your prejudices. That's what these traitors do. But they're loyal normally to no one except the dollar bill. Their God is mammon. They'll sell you out. And once you go down the toilet, to the dark evil forces that they sold you out to, and won't think twice about it, and they'll retire Rio de Janeiro somewhere, or some place like Madrid, where. Dubai, wherever. And forget about you, these traitors. They're only about lining their pockets. To his victims, and he wears their face in their arguments. He appears to the baseness. I just said that. Bribes, kickbacks, sexual deprivation and debauchery. Whatever the baseness in you is, they cater to that to get you on their team. Promises of power, whatever. Whatever your Achilles heel is, they'll find it. These people are shrewd at it. Their arguments, he appears to the baseness that lies deep in the hearts of all men. He rots the soul of a nation. Cancer. They're cancer to a nation. He rots the soul of a nation. He's secretly and unknown in the night to undermine the pillars of the city. He's within. They know how to, you want somebody to unravel the Constitution, make a guy president, they got a PhD in the Constitution, in constitutional law. He could destroy the Constitution, undermine the pillars of society. That's what he's talking about. They know the laws. That's the pillar of our society, is the Constitution. Lex Rex, the king is law, rule of law. And in essence, they create lawlessness and make lawlessness a law. He rots the soul of the nation. He secretly and unknown in the night to undermine the pillars of the city. He affects the body politic. He infects the body politic. Cancer spreads. They're just malignant cancers, all they are. You get everybody corrupt in government, you got a corrupt government. Especially if you can get the 1% at the top, that's all it takes anyway. Fish rots from the head down. So if they can get all the heads of these organizations corrupt, they definitely got the body politic corrupt. They infect the body politic with their corruption. He infects the body politic so that it can no longer resist. Just like cancer. The body can fight it for so long. And when your immune system weakens, the cancer spreads rapidly. What do you think our immune system is? We have in place an immune system in the Constitution, in all the branches of government, in law enforcement. If all that becomes corrupt, what do you think is going to happen to the soul of a nation? It's going to rot. He infects the body politic so that it can no longer resist. The immune system is broken down. Cancer doesn't spread to where it could be terminal to a nation, a people, or anything. The cancer of fascism, the cancer of communism, the cancer of Islam, which is fascism with a cloak, of religiosity. Or even witchcraft, warlocks. That's what a lot of these people are anyway. That's part of the New World Disorder. That's what they worship. They worship Lucifer straight up at the top. They don't make no bones about it. Get in a circle, you got to get out. Yeah, I mean get out all the way. No half step. Your soul belongs to the dark and evil forces once you sell out. So. And that's what we had was occurring in our nation. Cancerous evil spreading, fomenting throughout the nation. If it wasn't for God's intervention, by sending a president that fears God, President Trump, this nation would have been finished. It would have been dead. Stick a fork in it. Well done. This nation would have been through. He infects the body politic so that it can no longer resist. A murderer is less to fear. A traitor can do a lot of damage. And we had an army, I say, of Benedict Arnold. One Benedict Arnold almost killed the nation off in his infantile state. We had a multitude, a boatload, a shipload of Benedict Arnold within our gates. Only through God's grace are we now recouping. And it takes radical surgery to get rid of radical cancer. Radical laser, chemo, whatever. It takes that. So the nation can heal again, become whole. After what was just worked on us. All right. Now, we're going to move from that to Mr. Absalom here. So turn in the Bible, 2 Samuel 12:9. Now, David, we're going to start here first. I'm going to give you the backdrop. We'll just read about the backdrop. I was going to just tell it to you, but we'll read it. To what brought on this Absalom, or this thorn in David's side, Absalom, what brought it on in the first place. So we read here in 2 Samuel. Let me see, make sure I got this correct. Okay, let's see, 12:9. Let's see if that's it. Yeah, 12:9. 2 Samuel 12:9. Now, David had stole a man's wife, his chief officer, took Bathsheba, had adulterous affair with her. A child was produced. He murdered Uriah, the husband of Bathsheba, sent him on a mission of no return, on a suicide mission. And now, he thought he covered his tracks. So David had conspired. His was a conspiracy. Steal a man's wife and commit murder. And he thought he was getting away with it. But the all-seeing eye of God was on him. So this is where we're picking up. This is God talking through Nathan the prophet. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house. God said, you're about to have war within your own family. And there's always going to be war campaigns for your family to fight because of this. You shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and thou hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor. God didn't say who the neighbor was. And he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. He's going to take your concubine, have sex with him on the rooftop in front of the whole nation of Israel, let's see. since you did your dirt in dark and secret, I'm going to expose you to the light of the whole nation. He's going to have sex with all your wives in front of the whole nation on the rooftop. Everybody can see. It's going to be a public event. See, God will chastise you when you think you've gotten away with something, even his own children, much less the wicked. He's a God of justice. He's not going to let David get away with it. So this is the beginning of the birth of conception of Absalom and his evil, because of what David did, his evil. David's evil had a rippling effect on his own family. That's the point I want to make. Okay. I wouldn't want to not let him get away with it. So now we're going to go. Now, Absalom, his son, I'm going to speed reel this. You can read it for yourself. Matter of fact, I did the teaching. I already told on the whole story was filled in on that tape. I'm just going to skip trace now. Amon rapes Tamar, which is David's daughter, one of the concubines of his. Absalom and Tamar are blood brother and sister, whole blood brother and sister. Now Amon is his half brother. Amon rapes Tamar. Now you notice God said that you killed Uriah through the children of Ammon. And David's son, he's the king's son now, his name Ammon. Just found that very interesting, that his son Ammon dies, and Uriah died by the sword of Ammon. God's judgment. Something very subtle. Most people overlook. Anyway, Ammon rapes Tamar. Absalom kills him. And he goes into exile for years. David's pissed. Of course, that was his son. Now, Joab, David's right-hand man, convinces, actually, Absalom sent him a letter to contact him, but he goes to David and convinces David to let him come back from exile and get back in good standing with him. But David's reluctant and still gives him the cold chill. But he does let him come back. And he's like letting a snake into your house. So he does come back. David gives him a half-hearted what's the word I'm looking for? He gives him a half-hearted acceptance. Half-hearted forgiveness. And puts him in all places. The center of religious worship is Jerusalem. That's where he goes. For 2 years, David doesn't say anything to him. So he's like a cancer over there, unchecked, doing his voodoo that he does so well. And this is where we're going to pick up 2 Samuel. I guess gave the backdrop. 70 lead boots. So 2 Samuel 14:25. Now, before we go any further, I wanted to do this too. I'm glad but we're going to pick up at 14:25. I want to give you we're going to go like, back to basics. I'm old school. And we're going to do it old school. This is the Oxford Webster's Dictionary. I still read books, believe it or not. You guys laugh, everything's on the internet now. I still like reading. And I still like returning to basics sometimes, It's good to refresh yourself with words. 3 words. We're going to, you might know them, might be an expert in them, but we're still going to go back to our ABCs. One is traitor. We're going to look up the definition of traitor before we get on to a traitor here, Absalom. Get a clear, some people might not have an idea what the word traitor means. So I'm just going to assume everybody's a novice and we're all starting over together. So we're going to look up this word traitor and see what the definition is. Okay, it's traitor, a person. So we understand it's a person. Traitor is a person who betrays their country, an organization, or a cause. It's a pretty clear definition. Read it again slow. A person who betrays their country, an organization, or a cause. So now we know what the word traitor means, okay? So the next word we're going to look up is betray. Because that's what the traitor does. He betrays. So let's see what betray means. Okay, betray. Betray, the definition here, means to harm someone or something by giving information to an enemy. Be disloyal to someone. Okay. Reveal a secret without meaning to. Oh, you could do it innocently too. Well, with the technology we have today, things could be passed innocently if they're not secure and governed over the internet. Over emails. Using emails, you could, I guess, pass classified information without meaning to. If you're not on a secure site. Reveal a secret without meaning to. Still a crime. And you still looked at it as a traitor and a betrayer. Even in negligence. If you are negligent. Most people are calculating. They know exactly what they're doing. There's usually money involved with a traitor anyway. Harm someone or something by giving information to an enemy. Be disloyal to someone. We'll go over one more time. I like repetition associated. Reveal a secret without meaning to. Okay, so we got the word betray down. Now we're going to look at cancer. What the word cancer means. Because that's what is the result of the traitor's. The traitor's action, the betrayal, results in a cancer that goes through the body politic. So let's look up the word cancer and see what cancer means. Cancer is a disease caused by an uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells. An uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells in a part of the body. So cancer can start, no matter where it starts. It can start in baby toe. It can work its way up through the body, the bloodstream, and then go into other areas of the body if unchecked. I guess that's what this is saying. I mean, I'm no doctor or anything, but it kind of makes sense to me. A disease caused by an uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells in a part of the body, a tumor, something evil. Cancer, oh, cancer is another definition of something evil. Something evil or destructive. Oh, I like that definition better for cancer. Something evil or destructive that is hard to contain or destroy. It's hard to contain a traitor once they get inside the gate and get busy doing what they do. See how much damage a traitor can do? Just one. I think it was only 23, if I'm not mistaken, 23 Bolsheviks that took down Russia, made communism. Only 23 of them. Took down the whole nation. Don't take many. One Hitler took down Germany. And the millions that died as a result of it. This one can affect a whole nation. One powerful cancer. Okay. We done dwelt there long enough. Time to move on. All right. Now we're gonna go to 2 Samuel 14:25. Now, David done brought him back. He's at Jerusalem, the center of worship, and he's plotting and scheming on old David, because that's what traitors do. While you sleeping, they plotting and scheming how to take the throne. That's what he's doing. That's what traitors do.